Everyone remembers the day the ground shook.
We were sitting on the couch and everything started shaking.
What did you think?
Immediately earthquake. Nothing else explained it.
Well, it just shakes.
That was like the fourth one that happened, and it was pretty crazy.
The biggest was a magnitude 5.1 earthquake rumbling through Hermleigh in Scurry County, Texas.
They say like the Oilfield around here has caused it, but I don't know.
About 9:30 on the morning of July 26th, an earthquake sent tremors through this town in Texas, jostling walls and rattling picture frames. There'd been a lot recently, much smaller ones, over 60 in the previous 7 days in Scurry County. Nearby in Snyder, Jay Calloway was on duty as the city's emergency management coordinator.
When it was coming, it sounded like a herd of cattle coming. And then it was just an eerie feeling, and then it sounded like the cattle was leaving.
What was your first thought?
There's a big one. What I was getting reports of is cracks in the walls, cracks in mortar, concrete cracks in driveways, foundations was the main damage that we've got.
And what do you think about suggestions that it was caused by fracturing by?
I have people ask me that all the time. I cannot give an answer. I don't know. That's above my expertise.
Snyder is the capital of Scurry County, and it lies on the edge of the Permian Basin, one of the richest oil and gas fields in the U.S. Hydraulic fracturing methods have spawned jobs and profits, but also earthquakes, not natural to Texas. In fracking, operators drill vertically and then go horizontally for kilometers. A sludge of water, sand, and chemicals is injected at high pressure, fracturing the rock, releasing oil and gas. But if that mixture taps a vulnerable part, a fault, the rock can slide and cause a quake. Fracking uses huge volumes of water, which have to be disposed, often by re-injecting the water back underground, and that's been a source of many quakes.
You see that one? This is another earthquake.
Alexandros Savadis, a seismologist, can see small quakes pop up real time, getting data relayed by solar-powered monitoring stations throughout Texas.
All these red circles are the highest magnitude seismicity.
There are a couple of hundred of earthquakes daily, most of them small, under magnitude 1.5. But the oil and gas industry was slow to admit, he says, that quakes were a byproduct.
When I came here in 2016, they were in denial. That was really not the best thing. I think the last 5 years, at least, it has been accepted by both the industry and the public. Our eyes on a daily basis are on the Midland Basin. Midland Basin is our key area. We think that this is the area we might see a few more magnitude 4 and above earthquakes.
Midland is at the heart of the Permian Basin, and horizontal fracking has unleashed another boom here. Deep in the oil patch, engineer Steve Meltzer meets us at the Petroleum Club of Midland.
I felt that one, and it's pretty far away, and it was 15 seconds of motion.
He's a second-generation oil man working as a consultant now and concerned about the quakes and the industry. What does the general population think about earthquakes related to the oil and gas industry?
Well, they get nervous. The people get nervous. I get nervous, and so we're going to have to be careful about the water disposal issue near the urban areas.
Meltzer shows us the newest fracking pad right in the middle of Midland.
You didn't ever think we'd be doing drilling and fracking in town, but it's become a big deal.
They'll drill down, then go horizontally right under the city. But he's more worried about the byproduct, those huge volumes of used water that have to be disposed.
This would be a water injection well, often called a water disposal well.
So underneath here, when the water's going down, how is it disturbing the earth to cause an earthquake?
Well, the deep ones, if the water gets into one of those fractures or faults, then it lubricates that fault and creates the earthquake.
Do you think this summer created any kind of a tipping point?
Well, we're getting close to it. I think if we have another one, 5 or better, there's going to be a lot of ramifications.
And Texas isn't the only hotspot. This is Peace River country in northeastern BC, in the middle of one of Canada's richest gas deposits, the Montney Formation. More fracking here is leading to more earthquakes. And Richard Kabzims has a big worry. He's lived here in Farmington with his wife and family since 1990. He first felt the shake 4 years ago.
It felt like a truck was hitting the side of our house and the engine rumbling. So this deep, low rumbling and things would shift. It would wake you up, and especially the first few times, you didn't know what was happening. You didn't have any experience. And again, with earthquakes, you just don't know. When will they occur? Will there be another one in a few minutes? Will there be another one tomorrow morning? Or will it be calm for a week? These yellow dots are all of the residences.
Now fracking is coming closer. A new site just over 1 kilometer from his home and near about 50 homes in the subdivision.
We are at risk. It's well documented. We've sent them letters and they've still approved the permit. So we are bearing the risk and they are saying, don't worry.
Gas production is projected to boom in the Montney Formation to feed a new natural gas pipeline. Coastal GasLink, 12 years in the making, promises to pump over 2 billion cubic feet of natural gas a day for a new liquefied natural gas terminal in Kitimat, BC. LNG for export to Asia, a first.
This is the Montney Pier. The blue dots are magnitude 3 to 4 earthquakes. Magnitude 3 is about where you could start to see some minor damage, such as cracking of foundation. And the red dots are magnitude 5 to 6 earthquakes.
Gail Atkinson, a foremost seismologist, shows how earthquakes at magnitude 3 and above are at record numbers.
In 2021, we jumped up to 60 earthquakes of magnitude 3 a year. Last year, up to about 160. Because we're seeing about 10 times as many earthquakes every year as we saw up to 2010, we'll be seeing 10 times as many at every magnitude.
Wow. So does that mean that we're more likely to see a 4 or 5?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
There's already been warnings. 6 years ago, a magnitude 4.6 quake shook a massive dam under construction on the Peace River. This is the Site C Dam in northeastern BC. Back in 2018, construction workers were told to evacuate the area after a strong tremor shook the land. Critics say that infrastructure like this should be protected by a bigger buffer zone.
It's my view that there should be a buffer zone of around 5 kilometers where you just don't frack around a dam. It's just not worth taking a risk with a major dam. I think regulators should be thinking a lot more about the risk.
They're actively constructing it today.
Up on the hill, Ovintiv, the large oil and gas producer, is building the pad for 28 wells. Drilling is scheduled to start in early February.
When you imagine that there will be a drill tower significantly taller than the trees nearby on a hill above our house, and the trees will not provide us a screen from seismic activity.
And he can't get insurance for earthquake damage either. 9 of his neighbors have signed a protest letter addressed to the BC oil and gas regulator, but the permit's already been approved.
I believe it was beginning of November, and I felt a rumble. I felt a shaking. And I thought, okay, where are they fracking now that we haven't been notified about? Right?
When oil companies, whoever they deal with,
whether it's a settlement or fixing something on your property, you have to sign a non-disclosure. So you're not supposed to talk to your neighbors about what's really going on. And I think that's part of the problem. They muzzle everybody.
Ovintiv, the gas company, says that there is no threat from these fracking wells. Do you accept that?
Absolutely not. It didn't happen before.
Richard Kabzums is not backing down. He's written 6 letters to Ovintiv, and in a letter back, the company said, instances of induced seismicity show these events occur deep underground. Numerous studies in Canada have concluded these events have no impact on health, safety, or the environment.
I would say that statement is patently false. One, they don't occur all deep underground. There's a range of depths. There have been damaging earthquakes that have been induced at depths as little as 1 or 2 kilometers, which is very close to the surface.
Ovintiv declined our request for an interview. The BC Energy Regulator says safety measures include constant monitoring. Any seismic activity in this area at magnitude 3 or higher means the operator must suspend operations and investigate.
It's kind of like closing the barn after the first horse is left. If you have one of those cases where it just lights up right away and gives you a magnitude 4 or a 5 as its very first salvo, the traffic light won't work.
The homeowners are running out of options.
What people don't realize is that there's a human cost to this gas, and the people in the Bell subdivision are part of that human cost. We are bearing a risk. They see a reward, we see risk.